from something she sent me. In fact, I received it over the weekend. Harriet is one of the foremost exponents of the Celtic harp in the UK. She was classically trained, reached grade 8 with distinction on concert pedal harp, and then had the chance to join an Irish band in London in her gap year. She had a religious conversion to Irish music and has never looked back since, although she does still play some classical music, as well as mixing Irish music with jazz and her trio of a harp, bass, and drums. She was twice Harper.
What did I get last year from the?
Sorry, somebody's not on mute, or can you just stop talking in the background? She was twice Harper of All Britain at the British rounds of the All Ireland competition, and a winner of the open stage competition at the Celtic Connections Festival in Glasgow in 2007. Chosen from over 82 acts competing for the title. She's performed solo in the Royal Albert Hall and the O2 in London as part of the Young Voices tour, and has toured 25 different states of America with the Irish Variety Show, which was organised by Barry Collins. In non-COVID time, she spends a lot of time on the road giving concerts across Europe, playing with several Irish bands in Germany, and giving regular solo performances at festivals around Europe. During lockdown, she's currently giving online harp lessons and concerts from her house, a very remote farmhouse in mid-Wales, and she's been busy recording a new album. She told me when I spoke to her last week, her definition of remote is she's about 20 miles from the nearest shop and 2 miles from her nearest neighbour. With no more ado, Harriet, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and I hope you're going to enjoy the music this evening.
Thank you very much, Harriet.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, first of all, a slip jig called "Flying to the Flower." A lot of you will know that a flower is the big All-Ireland Irish music competition that happens every year. And this is a tune by the piper Patrick Davey. And I've stolen it and put it on the harp. And then it's going into a couple of modern reels. The first one is one of my own tunes. It's called the Expectation Reel. And the last tune is called The Bells of Dublin. And there's a bit of a bell theme running through this one as well. So hopefully you'll hear the bells throughout the tune.
Very good.
much. Thank you. Is that all coming out okay, Ed?
Very loud and
Everything,
clear.
everything
Beautiful.
coming out okay? Good.
So, Harriet, first of all, I mean,
Great.
you carry on, you perform as you want to. The next half an hour is your time. But first of all, just filling on for what Hugh said, just give people an idea of exactly where you are in the world, where you're located.
I will. As Hugh said, I'm in a very, very remote house here, surrounded by sheep in the middle of the Welsh hills. But I learnt my Irish music in London, in Harrow, and also in Kingsbury, learning with West London Cultus, Cultus Kilteri Earin, the Irish traditional music group there. And yeah, you can probably tell from my accent that I wasn't born in Ireland. I was born in Guildford in Surrey. But Irish background, Liverpool Irish background on my mum's side. And yeah, I've just totally fallen in love with Irish music and been playing it for well over 20 years now. And I did my degree in Irish as well. So I've been learning Irish as well for a long time. So it was lovely to hear some Irish being spoken there.
Let's go on to
So I'm going to play you a couple of... going to play you some old tunes as well as some of those more modern ones. So we're going to get back to some of the really traditional ancient harp tunes now, and a couple of tunes by the most famous Irish harp player, who's I'm sure a lot of you will know, is Tuathail Carolan, the blind harp player from County Roscommon. And these tunes go right back to the 1600s, the late 1600s. And he wrote literally hundreds of beautiful tunes for the harp. And these two rank as my all-time favourites. It's a tune called Elena Plunkett, and then one that he wrote for his old harp teacher, a woman called Morgal, or Blind Mary. So just take you back in time for a moment to possibly a farmhouse a bit like this one, or maybe a castle somewhere in Ireland by an open fire a little bit like this one. And this is the kind of music you would have heard in the 1600s. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to play you a couple of tunes from Donegal, which is the part of Ireland I've spent most time in. And I learned how to dance to Highlands one New Year in Gweedore at the Frankie Kennedy Winter School in Gweedore. And Highlands are a particular type of tune, a bit like a strathspey from Scotland, but unique to Donegal. I'm not sure if we've got any Donegal people here listening, but they're very popular in Donegal. And I'm going to play you a tune called The Low Highland that I learnt from the playing of wonderful fiddler James Byrne from Glencolmcille. And then that's going into a reel with the great name of The Rat in the Thatch. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the rat scuttling around in that one. And I'm starting off with one of my own tunes that's called Here and Now. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Harriet. Fantastic.
Ah, thanks very much. That was the rat scuttling off at the end. The rat in the thatch tune. So I thought I would play you something that demonstrates the way this kind of harp works. So modern Irish harps have levers at the top of the strings. And that gives me my sharps and flats for any of you who are musicians out there. So if I need extra sharps and flats, I actually have to move a lever as I'm playing. So I'll show you this in action now. The older harps in O'Carollin's day back in the 1600s wouldn't have had levers, so you'd have been stuck in one key. But for the last couple of hundred years, Irish harps have had these levers. and they're handy, but it does mean you have to do a few acrobatics sometimes in order to change key. And this next tune is a hornpipe called the Acrobat. It's a 19th century hornpipe. So see what you make of this. Thank you very much. Thank you. So that was the Acrobat. So hopefully you can see the levers in action there. Well, I thought while I'm going to be playing almost entirely Irish music this evening, but I wanted to show you a little bit of the potential of the Irish harp as well in this concert. So I thought I would play just a very short bit of jazz to show you how that the Irish harp can do some rather modern, interesting things. And as Hugh said at the start, I play with a trio with a bass player and a drummer, mixing Irish music with jazz. And that's one of the main things that I do now. So I'll just give you a little taste of the kind of music I do with the trio, just so that you can see some of the variety that you can get on this instrument. So this is a piece called New Blues. Thank you. Thank you. So that was just a little taste of some of the potential of the Irish harp and what people are doing on it today. So to go back to something very traditional, I didn't feel like I could do this concert without playing at least one of the most famous tunes to come out of Ireland. So I don't think this tune needs any introduction to an audience like yourselves.
Is this a case of if they know it, sing at home?
It is. Yeah, please do. Okay, here we go. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't think we should do a St. Patrick's concert without that one, really.
Absolutely.
So, we've got another couple of tunes for you, if that's okay. I think I'll play you a hornpipe next that I actually learned with West London cultists when I was spending a lot of time in Harrow and Kenton and Kingsbury. I was there a lot in my late teens and early 20s, playing with various different Irish bands in North London. And it was really the London Irish scene that gave me so many of the tunes that I'm still playing today and gave me my love of Irish music. I came from classical music where everything's taken quite seriously, and then I discovered this kind of music where people sit around in each other's kitchens swapping tunes, and I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what music's about. And this was one of the first tunes I learnt with West London cultists. It's a hornpipe by the accordion player Paddy O'Brien, so from Tipperary. So this is Paddy O'Brien's hornpipe, and then it's going into a reel that I composed myself, and it's a reel that I made up before my final exams at university when I probably should have been revising, and instead I was dreaming ahead to a life of freedom as a professional musician, and the tune's called Jumping Ahead. So I'll use it tonight for us all to dream ahead to the end of lockdown, which let's hope is in sight very soon for all of us. So, jumping ahead.
Terrific.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Oh,
Oh, great. So, how are we doing for time, Ed?
But we're okay. We're okay, Harriet. I mean, you know.
Shall I make this the last one?
Ah, you got another couple of hours.
Another couple of hours.
Go on,
Yeah.
leave us with another one, Harriet.
I'll leave you with one more, and I wanted to play this one specially for Barry Collins, and I got to travel all around America because of Barry Collins and the Irish Variety Show, and it was just such an amazing experience for me, and really at the start of my career to get to travel around and perform in 25 different states all around America was fantastic, and such great memories of the tour. It was absolutely brilliant. So this is one of Barry's favourites, I know, and it's one that I used to play with the dancer in the show, and it's called The Mason's Apron. It's very well known Irish reel, so I thought I'd leave you with this one. And just before I go into that, I'll play Just something a little bit slower, which is one of my favourite slower tunes. It comes from the Aran Islands and it's called Initia. So I'll play you Initia and then into the Mason's Apron to finish. And thank you so much for listening to me. And hopefully some of you might have a few questions afterwards. I'd love to answer any questions if you do. Let me just do a quick bit of tuning and then I'll give you this last set. With having the open fire, then it puts the harp out of tune. Okay, here we go.
Everyone, please take yourself off of mute.
Oh,
Give Harriet, please, a massive, massive round of applause.
Oh,
He loves it. Obviously,
Oh,
good.
You're on mute.
One for the road.
What?
oh, thank you all for listening, and happy St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday. I hope you all have a fantastic time.
Happy
Well done.
Harriet, I know that.
thank you. Well done. Excellent.
I know I'm going to be very,
Well,
I'm going to be very greedy when people start talking now, but can I ask, can you just read one very, very quick read or something to get us all going? And then what we're going to do, if there isn't anyone who's got a question, I know Eileen Kostick had a hand up to ask a question, so I'll come.
No, press the wrong button.
Oh, you pressed the wrong button, Eileen, don't worry.
Clara.
It happens
Yeah,
to all
let's
of us.
have a go.
And then what we're going to do, I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, Harriet, and
I have a question.
it's another.
Question.
Yeah, one second. If you could just spare another 10 minutes of your time, I'm gonna throw you into a couple of the breakout rooms so people could actually have a 5-minute chat with you.
Oh, that'd be lovely. I'd love that.
Group. Go on, Paul. Your question, please.
Harriet, I wonder how you managed to get the harp on a Ryanair flight when you're travelling.
Yeah, I know for all that Ryanair have the harp as their symbol, they're not always that good when it comes to transporting instruments. But I do have a flight case for it, and Barry Collins lugged my harp all around America in this massive, great flight case. So yeah, I do have a flight case for it, but it often recently I've been borrowing harps in different countries.
Yeah.
There's quite a nice network of harpists, and normally if I post on my Facebook page that I'm going to a certain country, will anyone lend me a harp? Normally some kind person will. So I've been getting some cheap Ryanair flights and then borrowing harps in different countries. I've got a harp in every port.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You got a question?
Yeah, another one. Carry on.
I got a question. I was interested. What's the difference between a Welsh harp and an Irish harp? And as an Irish harpist living in Wales, do you ever play any Welsh?
That's a good question.
I do play a lot of Welsh music, actually.
What difference do you find? I love the harp, part Welsh and part Irish, so perhaps that's
perfect, pan-Celtic.
what you find was perhaps the difference between is there any difference? Is it,
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's one I get asked a lot. In terms of,
is it? She's just zoomed in tonight.
In terms of the actual instruments, there's not much difference. In terms of the actual instrument, there's not much difference between an Irish harp and a Welsh harp. If you go back to the Middle Ages, there's depictions of harps that look a bit like the harp on a pint of Guinness in Wales, in Scotland and in Ireland, and even in Brittany.
So when it goes,
all the
just go
Celtic
blank.
countries really seem to have had harp-like instruments. And there's no standard harp. So I have 6 different harps and they're all different shapes and sizes. So every single harp is slightly unique. So it's quite hard to generalise. Normally an Irish harp has a slightly more rounded pillar, this bit of the harp, than this. This is more of a Gothic shaped harp, which you got in, this particular harp's made in Germany, but it would count as an Irish harp because O'Carolan, who I played some O'Carolan tunes earlier on, and he had a harp that had a very straight pillar and looked very similar to this. So it's hard to generalise. I think a lot of people associate the Irish harp with the traditional image of the harp you get on the Irish Euros or you get on a pint of Guinness, which is this lovely harp, the Brian Brew harp that's in Trinity College Library in Dublin. You can go and see it if you go and view the Book of Kells. You can view this amazing harp at the same time. And that's one of the oldest harps in Ireland. And it looks very much like the harp on a pint of Guinness. So that's probably your typical Irish harp.
Brilliant. Thank you.
In terms of the music, Welsh folk music hasn't really caught on as much as Irish folk music has, but I am playing quite a lot of Welsh tunes and trying to promote Welsh music now I'm here. So I often do play quite a few Welsh tunes, but Irish music's my first love. Don't tell anyone here in Wales, but definitely Irish music's my first love.
One final question from anyone. Okay, what we're going to do now then, we're going to...
Hand up.
Yeah, sorry, who has, sorry?
Francis.
Francis, sorry, Francis.
Waving furiously. I just wondered how you keep your fingers in shape don't you get calluses, or do you keep your
Um,
fingers extra soft?
I teach a lot of pupils the harp, and to start with, people do get sore fingers, and you can put surgical spirit on your fingers to toughen them up a little bit. I don't have a problem now because I've been playing the harp for 33 years, I think, and I play every day, and it's not a problem now. And in fact, I think it's actually worse playing an instrument like guitar. I think these are gut strings on this type of harp, and they're actually quite kind to the fingers. It's not as bad as you'd think. But certainly some of my little children that I teach come to their lessons complaining of sore fingers to start with, and you do get blisters when you first start, and then your fingers quickly toughen up.
Okay, thank you, Harriet. Apologies if anyone else was looking for a question, because on my screen I can only see Harriet at the moment, so that's why I can't see everyone together. Harriet, I'm going to pass you back to, in a second, I'm going to pass back to Hugh, just to say our thanks on behalf of everyone. But also, can I just say that I must also comment on the quality of your internet connection.
I might be in the wilds of Wales, but I do have a decent internet connection.
We've
Thankfully.
got about 4 brothers this evening by poor interconnection, but your internet connection is actually first class. I'd also like to say that for myself, you've been an absolute pleasure tonight. I've known Harriet for around about 25 years. I have never asked Harriet for something where she's never straight away said, yes, what do you want me to do? Genuinely, for someone who's not normally lost for words, I don't think my vocabulary is big enough to express our thanks tonight for what you've done.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be here, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you all for Wednesday. Thanks a million.
Anything from you, Hugh?
Only to say, just to repeat what you've said, Ed, I think it's been a great evening. The size of your audience is a tribute to it. What is also interesting is we've lost one person in the course of the whole of your concert, and they sent me a message and said, I'm terribly sorry I've got to leave, but I've had knee surgery and I'm in pain, which was nothing to do. We haven't lost anybody throughout your concert, which I think is a tribute to how good it is. Thank you so much.
Oh, lovely.
Hopefully,
thanks for having me.
again, maybe even face to face, although I don't think we're coming to Wales. But you may be.
I am in London from time to time, definitely.
I'm going to stop it there.